So I'm in my garden today doing reviews on some vegetables and just checking things out here, see how things are growing. And things are kind of growing slow. But I figured I'd do a review on this. I specifically planted this here so it's outside it, away from like the weeds and the grass and everything else. And it's here where I at least can control it a little bit. So this is called Purslane. Now there's like 2 or 3 species that I know of. But generally, the majority of what you're going to see is going to be this specific species. I don't know it offhand. I got to look it up on Wikipedia and see if I can locate this exact species. And then I will put the correct information in the description. Okay, so we're going to do a taste test on this, and I'm going to try to describe to you what this tastes like. And I have eaten this many times before. This is a very good foraging food. It's also a very good food. If I'm not mistaken, I remember reading one time that this particular plant is extremely high in selenium. So if you have problems with selenium and you know of like your particular ailment, it might be selenium deficiency related, this would be something you would want to incorporate into your diet on a daily basis. This plant originally, if I'm not mistaken, was brought over from Europe and, you know, Eurasia and all those areas. This grows native out there, and it was originally brought over here because it was considered a vegetable in those days, and that's how it got introduced to the United States. So it grows wild now like a weed, but this is a very hardy plant, a very excellent plant to eat. It's very good with nutrition. It will keep you very healthy. So it grows wild, but if you're gonna, like, I would recommend if you plan on eating the stuff like that's in your yard and all, cultivate it like I'm doing here. See how it's cultivated? I'm eventually gonna let this go to seed and maybe gather seed from it, and then I'll grow it for a few years in its own environment, its own pots and stuff, and that way maybe I can develop the leaf to get bigger and become more hardy and grow a little more better. And so I'm gonna eventually cultivate this plant. But for the video today, we're just going to taste test it. All right, so let's pick us some of this, and that's the leaf shape on it right there. You'll know what it is because the stem, they're usually redder than this. The stem is usually redder than that, but it's got that redness to the stem. It looks like it would be poisonous, but this plant is not poisonous. Trust me. It's almost succulent-like. It's almost succulent-like. That's a hard word to say. It's a hard combination of words. But it tastes amazing, this plant. This is one of the few wild edibles that I really enjoy eating, as opposed to the other ones I eat more or less for survival reasons. Like if I absolutely need to eat something and there's absolutely nothing around for me to eat, at least I know what wild plants I can eat, and I can hopefully sustain life with doing that. Whereas with this, I go out of my way to actually grow it, eat it, regardless whether I need to eat it or not. But like I say, this is very high. I believe in selenium. I got to double check my facts on that. Selenium is one of those nutrients that you tend to become deficiency in, and it causes all kinds of physical ailments and stuff. So you don't want to be deficient in selenium. If you're sick or you're getting diabetes or you're getting cancer and you're getting things like that, this would be one of those wild plants that you really want to eat. All right, so let's turn you around and give you a taste test. What's up, guys? I'm going to do a taste test on this and try to describe the flavor for you. I don't have a whole lot to bring in for salad today, but I am going to be making salad with some of the greens and stuff I got out here later today, so maybe I'll do a video on that. But let's give it a bite and describe that flavor for you. Okay, let's try to describe the texture and the feel of it in your mouth first. If you ever eaten Malabar spinach, I know a lot of you have. If you ever eaten Malabar spinach, it has that kind of a slimy texture to it. When you're eating it, it starts getting a little slimy. It has that effect to it. Mucilaginous. It's mucilaginous. It's kind of slimy after you chew it, but the stem part of it is still chewable. It's not like a hard stem. You can eat the stem, but the stem tends to have a little bit of a wild plant taste to it, whereas the leaf itself tastes perfectly fine. As far as the taste goes, It's very, very mild in flavor. Very mild. It almost has no taste at all. But if it does have a taste, I would kind of put it on that Malabar spinach leaf taste, the leaf part. It's very mild like that. It's not very strong in flavor. It does have a little bit of a green flavor, and I have eaten this stuff grown in different parts of the yard that have tasted more or less like, almost like a very light kind of a lettuce taste, believe it or not. But the effect in your mouth is mucilaginous, and so it's going to be a little slimy. So if you're not used to that, just eat smaller amounts and build yourself up to it. It's really a good plant to eat. This is really one of those foraging foods, like I say. I actually go out of my way to actually pick it and eat it because I actually like this plant a lot. If you've never tried purslane, even if you see it growing in an area yard that's not cultivated and all, it's okay to eat it. It's just wash it off first because you don't know what's been on it. Like in my case, nothing's coming into my garden. It may be a mouse here and there, but in general, it's not dogs peeing on it and stuff, so you don't have to worry about that. So it's definitely a good plant for you to eat. It's very high in minerals. It's not just the selenium, it's other minerals it's also very high in. Because it's a wild plant, it's going to extract nutrients from the ground differently. There's a name for this kind of a plant. They call it a hard road plant or something like that. Hard road or hard walk plant or something. Hard sidewalk plant. Meaning that these plants can virtually grow inside the cracks of sidewalks that never get water. They'll grow there. They don't need any maintenance. They don't even need rainwater. This falls into that category. I wish I knew what that word was called. Hard walk or something it's called. Lamb's quarter, for example. Lamb's quarter kind of falls into that because it's nothing can kill it. You know, there's very few things that'll actually kill that plant. And this is kind of like that. This plant is very, very hardy. It's really adapted really well to its environment. But again, that is the common purslane. I don't know if I should put this down as like a vegetable or like a not invasive species. It is kind of an invasive species because it was introduced into the United States, and technically they say that it's not an invasive species. Some groups will use terms like naturalized. This plant is naturalized, so now it's not an invasive species. It's been naturalized. It's a really thin line to go by. Some people are really bothered by it. I don't really consider it an invasive species. It's good to have this around. It's not really that invasive. It's not taking over my whole yard, so it's really not an invasive species, but it was introduced. It is a naturalized plant, is what I should say. It's hot out here, man. Wow, I haven't seen the sun in like a week. It's been raining and cloudy for like a week. But not to digress, that is again your purslane, and I'll eat that last piece and say goodbye. Delicious. You can eat like part of the stem with the tops, but I don't go like all the way down the stem and start chewing on the stems. They're not that desirable, the stem part. But the leaf is good. You can pick all the leaves off it and collect a bowl full of it, and you can eat that easily. No problem. You can make a salad with that easily, guys. All right, so that's just a review on the purslane, the common purslane, red purslane. I'm not 100% sure the name. I'll try to look the name up and put it in the title and description. But if you like this video, like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.